How do you do, fellow NORL fans? Welcome along to the Nemesis Online Racing League Formula 1 2018 Championship. Once again, it's been a whole week already, and we are back for Suzuka this time around. And it's round 17, very much at the end of the season now, where if any driver wants to show off how to win a championship, they got the time to do so, and they need to do it soon because they're getting towards the end. It's xxkillshotzxx who's dominated this season, pretty much in its entirety this season. And he's looking to do the same again with a pole position, as he is the fastest man on circuit at the moment. And you can just see where everybody else is. Nemesis Racing not taking part in qualifying, starting at the back of the grid. Likely for a qualifying ban, I'm unsure. I will check for you. I don't believe he has any penalties due. Could just be a case of getting his lap invalidated, but we'll never know. xxkillshotzxx comes up to the line then and goes to take pole position here at Japan, and it's by a whopping 6 tenths over his teammate. So very much looking like it's going to be a dominant performance from xxkillshotzxx here today. So just taking a look, it doesn't look like Nemesis did have a penalty, so genuinely just choosing to start towards the back and see if that can work out for him a little bit better than he would hope, because starting at the back at Suzuka is not always a bad thing. Very good position for Dougie Afroman starting P3, but a lot of drivers going for the soft tyre, so he's a little bit out of position. Usually I'd expect him to be a little bit further down if everyone else was on supers around him, but he'll start third, 1.5 seconds off pole position with a big chunk of soft runners in the middle. And you can see it was a bad qualifying for Lord George UK, who will line up on the super softs for P8. And then Murcielago and Kevin will attest to the medium tyres. Nemesis Racing will start P12 with no time set, and Maka did not set a valid lap time, so he will start at the back and look to stay out of trouble as we go into turn 1. And you know how turn 1 is at Suzuka and how turn 2 is. It's a decreasing radius, becomes a tighter angle as time goes on. So you get an idea of the bottlenecks that we're going to be looking at on this very first lap. And Maka's got to be careful of that, because everyone in front of him will suddenly go slower. I don't know if anyone just saw the Sauber on the right-hand side of the screen then, just got launched up in mid-air and then landed again. Hopefully that doesn't damage his car too much, but that's just another wacky Codemasters bug that we've become so used to. So we're just waiting on the teams to get to the grid. And then we will get ready for the formation lap. And then a long 27 laps come our way in Japan. Okie dokie, so it looks like we are ready to get underway. I do apologise about that. I was just getting the stream set up on the PC side for comment monitoring and anything like that during the stream, as xxkillshotzxx gets jiggy with it out of the hairpin, lining up the rear tyres. Having to get on the brakes. Getting a bit too eager. Not quite lap 1 yet. Could be Dougie Afroman's highest qualifying of the season, or at very least equal to him, so he'll look to try make the most of it and try hold on to that podium. Last time we saw Dougie Afroman on the podium positions, of course, was France. where he soon met his own demise when he spun out all by himself from that third place and lost that podium position. He'll be mainly battling this man, Callum Spencer, behind for the podium today. And look to see if he can hold off the man on the soft compound of tyres. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be wet, it's going to be wild, it's going to be, well, not quite wet. But there's always a chance of rain. I believe there is a minuscule chance of rain in this Grand Prix. So it could be wet and wild. But Nemesis Racing has just made the most terrible blunder. And it has been caught by the stream. He has spun out on the formation lap. That's very embarrassing for the man with the most experience on the grid. And he'll look to have a good race to not have that show as his main point of today's race. That's a big blunder from Nemesis Racing. And a bit awkward for the man with more experience than anyone else on the grid, but just shows you these things can happen. Formula One is not wanting to give us a good camera angle, is it? There we go. So we get ready for 5 red lights. Now 4, now 5. It's lights out and away they go then. Who's going to get the better start at the front of the grid? I think it's, look at that, Dougie Aframan alongside Nibbler already. Can Nibbler hold it on the inside, or is he going to lose a position to the Sauber straight away? There's Ferrari very aggressive in holding on to that second place. Dougie has to back out of it and will drop back down into P3 where he began this race on. You can see Lord Job making moves already on them soft compound of tyres, looking to get a move on early doors and maximise the grip of the Supersofts versus the Softs. We saw a Haas there. I believe that was Nemesis Racing going off the track a little bit, and they'll get away with that one for the time being. Chazza leads, and this is Callum Spencer already putting a mighty attack on the rear of Dougie Aframan. As we come through sector 2, we have got yellow flags. What has happened in the background? It looks like Destes has had a spin. The other Force India makes a loss while the other's making gains. This is from a long way back. Callum Spencer getting tangled with Dougie Aframan. Banging tyres, banging wheels. It was a very hard move to depict. It was a little bit of chaos going on at the hairpin there, and Callum Spencer stays behind Dougie Aframan for now, goes a little bit slower through Spoon. That's going to allow Ragnar to close on him. Lord Jog goes very, very wide. That's going to allow Anal Tanovic to get on the throttle early, and this, you can see this little 5-car train coming into 130R. Dougie Aframan, is he a cork in the bottle at the moment? Is he holding up the guys behind him on them Superstars? That'd be very surprising. Callum Spencer's looking to the outside of the chicane then. Will he be able to do it? No. Dougie Aframan goes a little wide though. That's going to allow a textbook switchback to be set up by Callum Spencer and get him the better run coming onto the start-finish straight. And here we go then. Force India versus Sauber. Round 1, or round 2 even. We've already saw these guys go at it earlier this lap. And now they're going to go at it into turn 1. Dougie Aframan cuts the corner. In doing so, I'm sure he'll get a warning from the stewards. But he continues and holds on to third. Oh, but look at that run from Callum Spencer. Seizes the opportunity and takes the position away from the Sauber. What a move by Callum Spencer for the podium position. Dougie Aframan will be seething that a man on slower tyres has just absolutely mugged him through the S-bend sector. He'll look to try fight it back as soon as he can, but he goes wide. Hits the gravel on the outside. That's going to put him under pressure from Ragnar. A lot of mistakes from Dougie Aframan, it seems, at the moment. Cutting the corner in turn 1 and now going too wide into the Degners. Going to put him under pressure from the Italian pressure that he doesn't need if he's trying to capture the Force India in front of him. See, Anil Tanovic is getting a run on Lord Jog UK. Lord Jog, again, making places while he's on them super soft tyres, making a lot of moves, getting out of people's way, and just trying to catch his way up while the tyres still have the grip. Meanwhile, Ragnar's got a bit of a run on Dougie Aframan coming out of Spoon on the run up to 130R. Now, who's got more? Dougie Aframan has used a lot of ERS on this lap. Ragnar has not. So come the start-finish straight, it's going to be advantage Ragnar when it comes to straight line speed. And Dougie Aframan has gone from a long way back, and he's just punted into the side of Callum Spencer. That's... I can't really say anything, but that was a very silly move from Dougie Aframan. He now loses a position to Ragnar as kind of a penalty for that move, but he's going to try to take the move back around the outside anyway. Ragnar will try hold it, but concedes it into sector 1. And we continue as we are. Anil Tanovic has pitted on lap 1 on the soft compound of tyres. Has he got a front wing? I'm not sure he has. I think Anil Tanovic somewhere on that lap lost his front wing. We'll clarify with the pit stop. I think Anil has had he has an early lap collision. No front wing on the front of that McLaren. Really puts a dent in his afternoon plans. Dougie Aframan has lost a position to Ragnar on this lap as well. We can see cars fighting coming out of the Degner section. This time we can see it's Murcielago trying to put the pressure back on Murcielago after losing a position. Murcielago really going for it, but he's on the medium tyres and he just doesn't have enough grip to go along with it and try chase Lordrog, because Lordrog's in on them super softs. He's got more grip and therefore he's just able to coast around. So here we go then. Lord George getting a slide on through Spoon, puts him under pressure from Murcielago once again on the grass this time. Meanwhile, Galactic Skull 2 in the sister Sauber is going to try go side by side with Nemesis Racing and take the move up the inside of 130R. Good move by Galactic Skull 2. Easy as you like, job is a good one. Now he's up into P8. Nemesis Racing demoted to P9, coming under a little bit of pressure from his teammate. Big contact actually. Valerio Campagnoli, Nemesis Racing looked like, I'm not sure what happened there. Galactic Skull 2 has left the session. Looks like a potential internet issue for Galactic Skull 2. Yeah, definitely an internet issue for Galactic Skull 2 on that one then. His connection has dropped out. Now he is an AI and he will be the cork in the bottle because the AI is slow and it's blocking Nemesis Racing from being able to pass him at any opportunity, which is allowing Galactic Skull 2 rejoins the session. He'll soon take that position. Oh, Nemesis Racing gets impatient, rams the Sauber off the circuit. No respect shown there for Galactic Skull 2's AI. Galactic Skull will rejoin, finding himself all out of position with two Hasses in front of him. And he'll look to get all the work he's just done, he'll look to do it again. So Kevin Jacobs really pressuring his teammate who's on them super soft tyres. The super soft tyres must be coming towards the end of their life if the mediums are able to keep up with them this well at the moment. Kevin Jacobs really looking. He's done a few long stints this season. The main people we've seen doing that is Anil Tanovic and Kevin Jacobs going really long on their compounds of tyre and taking it very far into the race. Now, he has to pass his teammate, however. His teammate might pit this lap because honestly he's losing a lot of time at the moment and they both go massively off circuit. Not a very synchronized switch, a bit all over the place. Murcielago now disconnects from the session. No pit stop yet from the Haas of Nemesis Racing. Now Galactic Skull 2 is back in the session and he is closing in and he's going to look to try and go around the outside of Nemesis Racing into turn 1. Around the outside, but he goes deep onto the grass, and it's more internet issues for Galactic Skull 2. So we can't really tell what is exactly happening with Galactic Skull 2, if it's legit or not, because he does definitely have a connection issue at this point in the race. Now, he'll have to be careful, because that could cause a collision, and might get himself a penalty. It's one of them things, it's connection issues are very hard to steward, because it wasn't their fault. But at the end of the day, it could ruin someone else's race. Very hard to tell for Galactic Skull 2 at the moment. But he'll try fix everything that he's come up against at the moment and keep plugging away. Ragnar, speaking of plugging away, is gaining on Callum Spencer at the moment. Closed the gap from about a second to 7/10 of a second. So Callum Spencer going to be under pressure sometime soon. Not going to quite be under pressure into 130R. Nor will it be the chicane. But come turn 1, we might see a swap for third place. Ragnar's got about half ERS. Carl Spencer's got just over half. So these guys are about dead equal on ERS. So we're looking for turn 1. Anything from Ragnar? Nothing yet. The battle for the podium begins. And it's advantage Callum Spencer at the moment then through this sector. Not really anywhere to overtake. The next opportunity in reality will be the hairpin. By the way, Kevin Jacobs has just sent it down the inside of Lord George UK. What is going on with Lord George? He's losing a lot of positions at the moment. Has he made a mistake? Kevin Jacobs gets in front of him, puts a car in between himself and Galactic Skull 2. Galactic Skull 2 looking for a way by there. And there might be the opportunity. Lord George goes wide. And Galactic Skull 2 wisely doesn't try to go around the outside of there because He would have naturally understeered. Meanwhile, a swap, Maka makes the move on Nemesis Racing. The swap for P10 has happened in favour of the Red Bull, who does get on the gravel. Gets away with it though. Nemesis Racing will come back at him, as Galactic Skull 2 will go at Lord Jod. Is there anything? And Lord Jod goes deep. Maka goes deep. It's a double transition at the front. Lord Jod holds onto it. Maka does not. And Nemesis Racing's back up into the points then in P10. Meanwhile, Ragnar still pushing to gain on Callum Spencer. Down on the brakes. Over the curbs. Pushing hard. Nibbler pits then, the first man to pit, and once again he picks up that 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He pushes it to the limit, but is it really worth it? Because he gets a lot of penalties for doing this. Meanwhile, Lord Jod has lost the position to Galactic Skull 2 now, around the outside. Good move from Galactic Skull 2. He will come into the pits. Super soft tyres begging for mercy. Galactic Skull 2 will come out with Nibbler just behind. Nemesis Racing doesn't quite get in the Australian's way, so he won't have to worry about him. And the battle for third rages on. Ragnar, pressure for... Ooh, what happened to Galactic Skull 2? He's off in the wall. An accident for Galactic Skull 2. That's not a leaving of the session from his connection. He genuinely has crashed into the wall and DNF'd. So Galactic Skull 2 out already. Not a good start. But a Scotsman, he is out. The first DNF claimed by Suzuka. Ragnar pushing then to catch Callum Spencer. Hasn't been able to make the move on any occasion thus far. Will he be able to this time? Gonna be hard to tell. He has DRS though. Does he have more ERS? He does, but only just. Not much of a difference in straight line speed at the moment. Look how close these cars are under battling though. Incredible. Hello Mark, how are you doing? Welcome along to another episode of the NORL chapter. Glad to see you again, hope you're doing well. You just missed it. Galactic Skull 2 did crash out of 10th place just a moment ago. Got on what we can only assume is we didn't really see it, but we saw him in the wall, so it looks like he might have hit a curb and it's just spun him into the wall. What the drivers call auto spin curbs. Not a lovely thing at all. Maka gaining on Nemesis Racing once again, this time the battle for P7. Taking it smooth and steady. Pretty much out of ERS. Both of these guys very low on ERS, so they might want... Ooh, Maka gets on the grass. Almost launches into the back of Nemesis Racing. That could have been dire. But he gets away with it. Chazza into the pits then. We'll see if the undercut was really that strong. Maka definitely running out of ERS now. So it looks like he could do with doing some ERS saving. He just doesn't have any of it left. Nemesis has some in reserve to counteract. Chazza leaving the pit lane now. Just comes out behind Dougie Afroman. Where is Nibbler? Nibbler way too far back to challenge Chazza on the first pit stops. So Maka stays out. Nemesis Racing comes in finally to get rid of those tyres. Maka now can focus on saving some ERS through the tight and twisty section. Because he does not have much of it left. And that can cost him about a second a lap if you use it in the right places. Ragnar still trying to chase down Callum Spencer, but he's just outside the pace that he needs. How hard will Dougie Afroman fight Chazza, I wonder? Dougie Afroman yet to pit, I think. Let's clarify. Yeah, Dougie Afroman is yet to pit. He's on 8 lap old super softs. He won't want to fight this too hard. It's not his fight. He doesn't want to risk getting taken out by Chazza, who's fighting for the win today. Dougie Afroman is not. Oh! He's out! Chazza's out! Oh my goodness! That has just happened! Oh my goodness! Dougie Afroman has just taken out the race leader after he didn't even make it a lap on the new tyres. That is absolutely incredible. Dougie Afroman looked like he got a slide on when Chazza was pressurising him out of spoon. I don't know if there's a little bit of contact between the Ferrari and the Sauber, but the Sauber got a big swap on. He got a big tank slapper, and he just tail whipped Chazza into the wall. The race leader is out, Nibbler's eyes wide open, grinning like Daniel Ricciardo, because he now has the chance to win this Grand Prix, and his championship rival will not score any points. That is incredible. That could be a huge point in the championship fight. Oh my goodness, Dougie Afroman has been the subject of a lot of accidents this season, and a lot of times he has said that it feels unfair. He's not happy about the way he's been taken out. He's not happy that people keep crashing into him. Well, it's role reversal today, and he takes out one of the key players in this championship. That is huge for the championship. And that is huge for the politics of NORL. It's going to be messy in the race chat tonight. Buy yourself a ticket, get yourself a seat. Oh my goodness. The race leader then, on lap 11, is out of the Grand Prix. Ragnar goes a bit wide in chasing Callum Spencer. So Nibbler, net leader. Once Callum Spencer and Ragnar make their pit stops, Callum really pulling away from Ragnar now. Good stint so far by Callum Spencer. Really had everything under control. Great drive. And Dougie Afroman goes onto the medium, so he's going towards the end of the race. That is incredible. I'd love to be a fly in the wall in Chaz's room after that just happened. That's insane. That's it right there, folks. It really is. Anil Tanovic, in the meantime, then, has picked up... Sorry about that. Has picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. What we can only assume is track extending, corner cutting, just genuinely off-track excursions. Dougie Afroman is closing in on P5. Murcielago. Now Spencer still extending his gap on Ragnar at the front. I wonder when he's going to pit. Could Callum and Ragnar be involved in the fight later on in the race? Is Nibbler going to make a 2-stop? Callum Spencer's into the pits. Ragnar stays out. That's interesting. The Force India's in. Where is Nibbler? So Nibbler's easily going to pass Callum Spencer in the pit lane, as we predict. Callum goes on to Super Softs. That's bizarre. Is that the right decision? Well, we can only wait and see. Super Softs were lasting not very long. Is it a 2-stop from Callum Spencer for the final stint of the race? Is Nibbler going to try the 1-stop? Nibbler is on softs. Pay no attention to the fact his tyres are red. The telemetry says he's on softs, so that's just a glitch with the game. Callum Spencer on the Super Softs. I'm not sure what to make of that. That's a very interesting... It's a very interesting strategy. Yeah, Chazza HD then, the man who is out of the Grand Prix from the lead of the race, is in the chat saying, what was he doing? I wasn't even trying at that point to pass, but he just pushed me into the wall. From what we could see on the stream, Chazza, I know it's no consolation, but it looked like you got a big swap of oversteer and then oversteered into you. I'm sure it's going to be reviewed by the stewards. No consolation to yourself, of course. But, yeah, definitely going to be reviewed by the stewards. It's definitely interesting. But that is huge for the championship, huge for this Grand Prix. Nibbler will comfortably lead then once Ragnar makes his pit stop. What are Ragnar and Chaz are going to be able to do to take the battle to Nibbler today? Ragnar's going for the mediums, so Callum Spencer and Ragnar completely opposite on strategy at this point. So here comes Callum Spencer. There's Ragnar leaving the pits. Callum Spencer massively undercuts Ragnar and gains even more of an advantage than he had before the pit stops. Gains about half a second on Ragnar through the pit stop phases. Now, interesting, because Callum Spencer's gone for the super sauce, which are very fast. As you can see, he's gained almost a second on Ragnar through the first sector alone. Very fast tyres, the super softs. But they're not going to go to the end. There's no way you're going to get them to the end and still be fast at the end of this race. Maka now pits for some medium, so one stop for the Red Bull. He'll be in that battle with Nemesis Racing, so Nemesis Racing quite comfortably undercuts Maka. Maka will come out in last position. But he is going to the end of the Grand Prix. Lord George will have to pit again, and it's likely Callum Spencer will have to pit again. Destes definitely going to have to pit again at some point. Nemesis Racing has just been passed by Lord George, and I think Nemesis Racing's just spun out. I think he's had an off. He was going very slowly when we caught up to him. So Nemesis Racing's had a spin somewhere in that first sector, and he's lost the position to Lord George as a result. Dougie Afroman, meanwhile, is chasing down Murcielago. Fastest lap for Callum Spencer. He's gunning to try catch Nibbler and take the fight to him today. Chazza in the chat says, if he couldn't keep it pointing in the right direction, he might as well have let me and Nib through not to lose time. That's very true. We did say on the stream that it wasn't his fight, and he should focus on just managing in other tyres, but I don't know. Of course, we don't have replays, unfortunately. Dougie Afroman on the move, by the way, passing Murcielago for P5. He's on much younger tyres. Easy move for the Sauber for P5. Of course, we do get replays on the stream, so we wouldn't be able to review it on the stream, but I'm definitely looking forward to reading the stewards report, you know, and watching the replays and seeing both perspectives from it. But it is a huge crash. Obviously, not just physically, but like in terms of what it means for the championship. This could easily give 25 points back to Nibbler in the title fight. So it is pretty big. It is pretty controversial. So I'm looking... I'd like to be a fly on the wall when it all goes down, and I will be. I'll be keeping my eye in the chat tonight once it all kicks off, because I know it will. It kicks off every single week. So I'm looking forward to watching it again, but that is huge for the championship. So what we got on the circuit then? Dougie Afroman's passed Murcielago and is now pulling away. So that battle's all but capished. It's mainly looking like the battles to keep an eye on at the moment are Callum Spencer chasing down Nibbler, really, is the main one. Maybe Anil Tanovic closing in on Destes a bit. Destes yet to pit. Destes pitted on the very early laps after getting some damage. Murcielago now pits, so Callum Spencer really gaining on Nibbler at the moment, but again, Callum looking like he's going to be on the two-stop here this evening. So it's interesting that they've gone such polar opposites. Murcielago comes out the pits. Destes is in. He's on for some medium tyres. Destes going to the end of the Grand Prix. No, he's come out on super softs as well. They looked white when the team was putting them on. Super softs for Destes as well then. Force India are doing some very crazy stuff when it comes to tyres at the moment. Lord George goes on the softs. Unless the super softs just aren't wearing as much as we think they are. I'm not sure I really don't know how to read this super soft, but both Force Indias are in contact with each other. They share a Discord channel. where they're able to talk to each other and feed information to each other during the race. So both Force Indias are in contact with each other. So maybe Callum Spencer's just relayed the information to Defstairs that the Super Softs are pretty good. And Defstairs has gone for the Super Softs. Will they be able to get to the end? That's what it's really all about. Nimbler, I don't know if Nimbler's going to pit again. Oh, Callum's off! He's off! He's somehow not out, but he's off. And that hurts. Him trying to catch Nibbler in such a big way. That's a big off. Ragnar now takes second place away from Callum Spencer. Does he have damage? Yes, he does. From wing damage, that was a huge off. He's so lucky. That's exactly where Galactic Skull 2 went off and ENF'd. Callum Spencer is so lucky to still be in this Grand Prix. Galactic Skull 2 did the exact same thing and went into the wall and DNF'd. So Callum lucky to be in the race, albeit with massive damage. He lets Kevin Jacobs through. His assault for the win of this Grand Prix has gone. And Nibbler can breathe a sigh of relief. He doesn't have to worry about the Pink Panther anymore. That's a shame. That could have been very interesting towards the end of the race. And it's a big spin and a big crash, but he's still in the race. Defstairs, his teammate, is working on prying away P8 from Nemesis Racing. Oh, Nemesis on the grass. That's going to make things interesting coming into Degner. Surely not around the outside. Contact between the two. And that's a very interesting situation. Whose fault was that? Yeah, that's pretty much a racing incident. I have to be fair on that one. That is a racing incident because Death says shouldn't. Yeah, racing incident because he didn't really go around the outside. He was just in the wrong place enough for him to understeer into. Callum Spencer then will likely put on some more Super Softs. Really? So some more Super Softs for Callum Spencer. So he must be confident that these can go to the end. 10 laps on the Supers is what he's going to aim to do. Interesting. It won't be long before Defstairs closes back in on Nemesis though. He's got so much more grip on them new Super Softs compared to the old mediums that he's just going to be able to cruise on up behind him. DRS will deploy for the Force India on the Haas. To the inside. And the move is complete for P8. Good move. And they'll now work on closing in them 12 seconds, sorry, to Murcielago in front. So is Murcielago able to do anything about Callum Spencer? Not really. Callum Spencer's going to gain, and his next target will be P5, Anil Tanovic. And I get the feeling, unless we have some crazy stuff and some more pit stops, I think 5th might be the best Callum Spencer's able to aim for today after that mistake. And to be honest, I know I've said it once, but he's very lucky to still be going. We saw Galactic Skull 2 do the exact same thing. And he DNF'd, so Callum Spencer's must have hit it at a different angle, and it saved him. He could have DNF'd. We saw something very similar last week. It's just like a crack. He just, not really a crack under pressure, but just driving so fast, overdriving the car, and then he makes these mistakes. As he goes up the inside, Anil Tanovic backs off and lets him through. Anil is managing 15-lap-old mediums by the end of this Grand Prix. Kevin Jacobs, honourable mention, 17 laps on the mediums at the moment. Good stint. But yeah, we saw him crash out of the lead in Russia this time last week, so going through a little bit of a quick but inconsistent patch at the moment, Callum Spencer. We'll see what he's able to salvage today. What other battles do we have on the circuit? Anything to look out for? Nothing. No battles really at the moment. maybe Murcielago closing in on Aneltanovic. If he's closing in. The gap's kind of hovering around the 1.6 mark. Not really decreasing. Just sort of hovering. So out of the chicane we come. And we begin the assault. Down the front straight. And he's lost so much time to Aneltanovic. Murcielago really not being able to offer anything to the McLaren at the moment. So this man leads the race by a comfortable 17.6 seconds. He could probably pit if he needed to and come out battling with Ragnar for the lead of the Grand Prix. So if he needs to, he does have a pit stop. If he can get that gap to 20 seconds, he'll have a full pit stop in hand if he needs to make that stop. At the moment, he would come out battling or just slightly behind Ragnar. So he needs a little bit more. He's coming up on lapping a back marker. And Ferrari, Lorjo goes off the circuit. It's one way of letting a leader through. Ferrari would have had their hearts in their mouths, hoping that Nibbler didn't get taken out. They've already lost one race leader. They don't want to lose another. Chazza, in the nicest possible way, would have been hoping something came of that. But at the moment, he faces losing 25 points to this man. 7 laps to go, though. Not over until the fat lady sings. Anything can happen yet. We see how Callum Spencer in Galactic Skull 2 went off. Could it happen to anyone else? Murcielago's closed the gap to 1.6 again, but it's just hovering again. You know, yeah, it just hovers around 1.6. I don't think I've seen it. Aneltanovic, by the way, has passed Callum Spencer. Oh, he's off again! Callum Spencer's off again! I don't believe it. 2 big mistakes for the Force India driver have put him well and truly out of this Grand Prix. Unbelievable. Nibbler does make that optional pit stop. That's a heartbreak for Callum Spencer. What could have been today? He really had a lot of pace. It's just not worked for him. Let's just see if Nibbler does come out behind Ragnar. He does actually, so Ragnar's had a very good lap. Kevin's now in on 19 lap old mediums. Good stint from the Haas. So Nibbler comes out and we'll have to do 6 laps on supers. Now, if Kevin Jacobs could do 20 laps on the mediums, then Ragnar can definitely do another 10, another 9 on the mediums. Nibbler's going to have to put in some quick laps here to try and get that race lead back. And Ragnar's going to have to try and manage them tyres for another 9 laps. Murcielago's finally got the gap under 1.6 seconds to Aneltanovic. He's tried a number of times. And here is Heartbreak Hotel F1 team. Callum Spencer in for his 2nd front wing change of the day. After being at a point where he could have won this Grand Prix. He had the pace to win this Grand Prix once Chazza DNF'd. And how it can all come undone so quickly. He's going to come out not last, but he's going to come out 2nd to last. Is it might actually be quite close with Lorjo. Lorjo's going to overtake him into turn 1 just. So he does come out last. And that just shows how you can go from hero to zero, especially at a track like Suzuka. He will work on trying to get back into the points by passing Lorjo as soon as he can. And he'll hope not to go off again. He'll just need to back off a little bit through that sector just to make sure he gets through unscathed. Murcielago closing. Just check in on that battle. Looking like he could make the move up the inside. Up the inside for Calum Spencer. So Murcielago starting to catch Anel Tanovic a bit more seriously now. 5 laps in his Grand Prix to go. What has happened to Nibbler? Nibbler's had an accident. He's lost a chunk of his front wing. Nibbler has lost a chunk of his front wing and 10 seconds to the race leader. He is now under pressure from the Alfa Romeo sponsored Sauber of Dougie Afroman. He's made a mistake and he's thrown the win away. He's never going to close 23 seconds in 5 laps. It's just not possible unless Ragnar has enough of his own, and he's going to lose a position to the Sauber. This is P2 falling away for the man who really could have gained in the championship here today. It's all gone wrong for Ferrari in so long. It's gone so pear-shaped for Ferrari here today. That is absolutely incredible. That is he going to have to pit? He is. He's going to have to make another pit stop. He's going to come out behind Kevin Jacobs. He's going to come out behind Anel Tanovic and Murcielago. No, this is huge. This is Chaz's saving grace. What a terrible Grand Prix for Ferrari. And here he comes then. He'll come out behind Will Defstes. No, Defstes isn't close enough to capitalise on this. So Nibbler comes out in... This is huge. Is this going to be the first time this season we see no Ferraris on the podium? What a disastrous Grand Prix. That is absolutely incredible. Ragnar leads from Dougie Afroman from Kevin Jacobs. What a disaster for Ferrari. That's insane. So I wonder, did Nibbler make the same mistake Calum Spencer did? We've seen a lot of drivers do it. And the race leader, net race leader, now is out of the contention for the win. Out of contention for a podium. What can he do in 3 laps? That's insane. This race has been almost as dramatic as the Daytona 24 Hours today. That's absolutely incredible. What a Grand Prix. Just when you think it's all over, another twist comes out in the story. Murcielago doing whatever he can now against Anel Tanovic. Anel on 20-lap-old medium tyres, definitely trying to go to the end. How long? It's only a matter of time now before the Red Bull passes the McLaren on much fresher tyres. And is he going to do it around the outside into turn 1? He does. Red Bull up into P4. Good result for Red Bull today. They can pull this one off. Calum Spencer has just passed Maka for P9. So he's up to P9. Is that going to be the best he can do? 18 seconds in 3 laps? I don't think so. Oh dear. What a crazy race. Just when someone thinks they've got it under lockdown, it's gone. So Anel Tanovic has done a mighty stint on them tyres. Unfortunately for him, it's not going to give him any tools to work with in catching Murcielago again. I think he's just got to settle for 5th here today. He's got 7 seconds to Nibbler. Nibbler's going fast, but it's going to be touch and go if Nibbler can catch and pass Anel Tanovic in two laps. Yeah, 2 laps. We'll see. We saw he had the pace. He's got some very good pace, but it's not a case of pace. It's more of a case of time. Does he have enough time left? They've seen crazier things. Especially the longer Anel's on these tyres, the slower he gets. So, Anil also is drastically running out of ERS. He's used that ERS consistently to defend against Murcielago, and to which now he's run out of it. So he's got to do some ERS saving. Does Nibbler have... Nibbler's good for ERS, so I think Nibbler's going to be close. I think he's going to be in the picture come the final lap. Is Kevin Jacobs going to catch Dougie Afroman, do you think, in 2 laps? That might be another one to watch for. Oh, Anil Tanovic is off. Nibbler's definitely going to catch him now. He's just had a spin at Degner. Demoted to 6th. Now that was... Who did we see do something like that? Was it Heikki Kovalainen? Did something very similar to that in real life here. And he's just run out of grit. Oh, he's got a puncture. That's what's happened. His tyre blew up in Degner. Anil Tanovic has had a tyre blowout, and that is the risk of running these stints that go on for so long. The tyre has a chance to pop if you take it past its life, and that's what happened. His tyre blew up, and that's what caused the spin through Degner. That's actually really insane. That's something you'd see in real life. Anil Tanovic, the man who's known for going long on his tyres, it's come back to bite him today. Another drama in the Japanese Grand Prix. So Callum Spencer's going to catch and pass him. Maka will probably catch and pass him as well. Lord George could after the pit stop. That is huge. Anil is trying to get to the pits as quick as he can. Callum's got to be careful not to get too involved in this. Passes Anil Tanovic. Now where's Maka? Maka's going to catch him, definitely. And Lord George's a bit further back. I think Lord George will catch him as well. So that is another twist in the tail. That's a big cut to try and get to the pit lane a bit earlier, and he'll get slapped with a penalty for his trouble. So there goes Maka passing him now. And then where's Lord George? Lord George passes him quite easily as well. So 0 to 0, 2.0 for Anil Tanovic. That's been the case of today, 0 to 0. Now, we are on the final lap. Murcielago will have to defend from Nibbler this lap and next lap to hold on to that 4th place. Nibbler will need 4th place as damage limitation, as a minimum here today. So what can he do against Murcielago? How hard will Murcielago fight him? It's a late dive bomb from the Aussie. Catches Murcielago napping, and his job done. Great move by Nibbler. Caught Murcielago half asleep. And the move for 4th is done so much easier than I was anticipating. That came out of nowhere. Kevin Jacobs is getting about a second on Dougie Afroman, but I don't think he's going to get 2.5 in a single lap unless Dougie Afroman has some real tyre wear issues. Ragnar looks like he's going to come out of nowhere to win this Grand Prix. That's insane. He was slower than Callum Spencer in that battle. Callum Spencer and Ragnar weren't involved with Nibbler and Chazza at all. And then when Chazza DNF'd, it looked like it was Nibbler's to walk away with. Like we've seen him do so many times this season. But it's just not worked out that way. It's actually incredible how many different scenarios we've been in during the course of this Japanese Grand Prix. But at the end of it all, it's Ragnar 184 who wins out of nowhere for the Japanese Grand Prix. Absolutely incredible to just keep himself out of trouble when it mattered most. This man takes a controversial but his first NORL F1 podium. Kevin Jacobs gets a stonker of a podium as well. Great drive from Kevin Jacobs. Kept his nose clean today, has been rewarded for it. A controversial podium for Dougie Afroman. Nibbler will manage P4 on damage limitation. Good result, P5 for Murcielago. Nemesis Racing is desperately trying to catch Destes at the end of this Grand Prix, but I think the Force India is going to hold on to it. The man who spun out. First ever podium, by the way, for Kevin Jacobs as well. So 2 people took their first ever podium today in NORL F1. Great driving from both of them. Both of them got on the podium. Kevin Jacobs 100% deserving of that. He's been gunning for that for so many seasons now, and he's finally got one under his belt. Dougie Aframan deserving on his pace and his strategy, but controversial after taking out the race leader. So that'll be under investigation, I'm sure. Destes, good P6. Nemesis Racing, P7. Callum Spencer, another man who it all went wrong for here today, will only get 8th. 9th place for Maka. And it is Lord George UK rounding out the top 10. That has been a crazy Japanese Grand Prix. One of the best races of the seasons for viewers. I'm sure some drivers on the grid will disagree. But what a result. Ragnar gets a win out of nowhere. Dougie Aframan seemingly gets a podium out of nowhere, as does Kevin Jacobs. Great driving. Well deserved from Kevin Jacobs. I know he's been gunning for it. I know he's been practicing for so many seasons. A man who went from being a back marker to being a podium taker. Like so many guys we've seen this season taking wins who didn't used to have the pace. It shows you how the hard work and commitment pays off. But there are your final results then. It is Ragnar taking a win seemingly out of nowhere from Dougie Aframan. Kevin Jacobs will finish P3 and a Nibbler damage limitation for P4. Chazza, race leader, DNF, will lose only 12 points to Nibbler. Could have been a lot worse for Chazza after he got taken out. Nibbler unable to convert it to a win. And that will help him a little bit in the championship, but I'm sure that's not going to be any consolation to him whatsoever. That has been the Japanese Grand Prix. That has been absolutely crazy. Thank you so much for joining us at GamingNow and watching another race in NORL. Crazy. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, you can catch us on Sunday. Once again, we'll see you then. Bye-bye.